You're watching the News Channel 15 Highlight Zone with Glenn Marini. Sports coverage you can count on with the Highlight Zone starts now.
Definitely a big game for us against Carroll. This is a go home or go die.
Yeah, it is huge.
We've been treating every game as conference championship.
We talked to them a little bit about how unique it is to be in this position.
Great competition. We know that Carroll's a well-coached football team.
And any time that, it's the last opportunity to do something, yes, it does add excitement to it.
The end of an era at Dean Gorsuch Field tonight. You could call it bittersweet. Bitter for the team that would lose, sweet for the team earning the W. Homestead and Carroll meeting for the last time as members of the NHC, and it had championship implications. Joe Whelan was out at Carroll for your Highlight Zone Game of the Week. He joins us now with more. Joe.
Hey there, Glenn. Like you said, the premier rivalry in the NHC for the last several years taking its final bout tonight. Homestead and Carroll joining the SAC next season, but both making the push for one final NHC title in 2014, and what a way for these two to close it out. Old rivals adding another great chapter in your Highlight Zone Game of the Week. Homestead coming in at 5-1, Carroll 6-0. Chargers, one of the top defenses statistically in 6A, but didn't look the part on the Spartans' opening drive. John Lard takes the short pass and does the rest. Number 28 weaving his way through the traffic. 40-yard score. PAT was no good, so Homestead leads it 6-0. Not a lot of passing in this game. It was windy, wet conditions, but in the second, Aiden Smith finds Hayden Newellant's big gainer down inside the 10, and then 3 plays later, Chase Blockcamp caps the drive. 9 plays, 59 yards as the Chargers go up 7-6. Just before the break now, Homestead driving. Logan Ormsby looking for Ben Skoranek. Finds Blake Schumacher instead. Chargers forced 2 big turnovers tonight. They go into the half up 7-6. Third quarter, Carroll goes to work. Aiden Smith off the play action. Hooks up with Eric Lauer. This one good for 55 yards. Sets up a first and goal at the 10, but the drive would stall. JP Anzini is good from 21. It's 10-6. Move ahead now. Less than 2 minutes to play. Carroll up 7, but Homestead driving it on 4th and 3. Dylan Connor. Oh, yeah. Biggest stop of the night. That would end the threat and ends the NHC era for this rivalry. Carroll gets a rugged effort out of the D and hangs on 13-6.
I mean, we were in practice, we were saying, goose egg all week, so we came out here and we just played fast, we played hard, we played strong, and that's the defense that we like to play.
This rivalry that's been going on and just how hyped this game and everyone gets around it. So, yeah, it's a little extra, but now we just got to focus on the next game, get our heads there, get ready.
You got to keep them out of the end zone. They're a very prolific offense, and they put a lot of points on the board. And the bottom line is you got to keep them out of the end zone, and that's what our defense did, and that's why we were successful.
Carroll hits the road to visit the Nest at Columbia City next week, while Homestead will host Norwell. Glenn, Carroll just continues to find ways to win football games 7-0, but more importantly, they are 4-0 in games decided by a touchdown or less.
And as pretty a ball as Aiden Smith throws, they can win ugly, as you mentioned, including that big win against New Haven in overtime. That looms large as the NHC season comes to a close. Thank you very much, Joe. All right, let's move on to more NHC action. We're talking Bellmont at New Haven. Die-hard fans geared up for a good one. This one was tied 15 at the half, third quarter, after the Bulldog defense gets a turnover on downs. The ground attack finishes it off. That was Aiden Graham with the short touchdown. 2-point conversion, no good. 21-15 Bulldogs in the lead. Then it's the NH defense taking over in the fourth. It's Adam Smith capitalizing on that pickoff off Mason Shitterberry's pass. And then with under 2 minutes to go, Bellmont with a potential game-winning drive. But Adam Hoffer, you don't hassle the Hoff. He is big in Germany, and he gets the sack to seal it. The Bulldogs, they're giving out headbutts to everyone. New Haven holds on to win against Bellmont 21-15. Columbia City at East Noble. The Knights coming in 3-1 in conference, just a game back at Carroll. First quarter, Harold Bryce Wolf, the cornerback, with the keeper, and East Noble would lead 7-0. And if it works once, why not try it again? It's Wolf from 6 yards out this time for another touchdown, and it's 14-0. And it's like deja vu all over again, but when you got a guy like Wolf, why not let him take it into the end zone? Still in the first quarter, he's in again. It's a 21-0 lead East Noble, and the Knights go on to down Columbia City by a final of 49-35. Closing out the NHC, DeKalb at Norwell. Both the Barons and Knights coming off really close losses last week. Norwell up 26-zip in the second quarter. Oh, it's Curtis Blackwell with some D taking down Harrison Price for the sack. Norwell's defense looking good. It's pitching a shutout at that point. And then Norwell has the ball. It's Pearson Harnish handing it to Adam Norwald. He gets the first down. A little chilly at the courtyard, but you know what? The Norwell offense was hot all night. Harnish to Trevor Eichler. He's out at the 1. Later on the drive, Harnish sneaks it in, and Norwell goes on to win by a final of 41-8 over DeKalb. Moving on to the SAC non-conference game for Dwenger. The Saints in Indianapolis for their annual date with Cathedral. Pick it up in the first quarter. No score until this. Cathedral's Evan Christopher finds the turf. Touchdown right there. The red turf, I should say. 7-zip Irish. Cathedral's schedule, if you look at it, it's ridiculous this season. Later in the first, Zachary Norton would recover the fumble for Bishop Dwenger, but Dwenger didn't have a lot going on offense tonight as Cathedral tops the Saints by a final of 24-9. Another non-conference game at Snider hosting Elkhart Central. The Blue Blazers coming in 3-3. Snider 5-1. 27-zip Snider at the half, third quarter. That's Mac Hippenhammer out of the Wildcat for a 5-yard touchdown. 34-zip Kurt Tittman's team in the lead. Later in the third, the Blue Blazers getting on the board. It's Joe Phillips. You saw him get around the end, and he gets into the end zone down the sideline. 44 yards on the strike. 34-7 at that point. But you know what? Snider does it on defense. They do it on offense. They also do it on special teams. Jesse Banks, maybe one of the most valuable players in the area. The safety comes in to block the punt. In the fourth, it's Colton Painter in at quarterback. He sneaks it in from 1 yard out as Snider goes on to roll Elkhart Central 41-13. How about Lures and Northside? Lures always rock solid. First quarter action. Northside forces the fumble. DeJuan Harris would pounce on it for the Redskins, and Northside has the football. They would march the ball down the field, not exactly what Kyle Lindsey wanted to see, but Lures special teams steps up. Elijah Jett, the big guy, gets a paw on it. He blocks the field goal, and Lures was then in business. Ensuing possession, Noah Wazinski to Austin Mack. Mack was the guy who fumbled earlier. He makes up for it right like that. 76-yard score, and the Stanford coaches who are in town to play Notre Dame watching Mack, they had to be impressed. Still in the first, Jeremiah Gaston with the short touchdown. Lures out to a 14-zip lead, and the Knights do hang on to win by a final of 38-21. Final stop in the SAC, Southside coming off, not the final stop in the SAC, I should say. Southside coming off its first win of the season. Archers hosting Wayne. Second quarter, it's 21-zip Wayne. That was Keon Powers with a sidewinding 16-yard touchdown. 28-0 Wayne at that point. Still in the second, South cranking up the D. Jamar Ginty with the fumble recovery, but Wayne's got some defense too, and they've got Kai Black. We don't talk about this kid nearly enough. He's talented on both sides of the football. Black with the sack for that Wayne defense who would pitch a shutout tonight. Then it's Austin Yarborough, 15 carries. Watch him pound his way in, 99 yards, 4 touchdowns. The toughest one coming right there as Wayne beats South 47-0. Final stop now in the SAC. We're talking Northrop and Concordia. First quarter action. The Cadets, Daniel Sparks rolls out and throws into the end zone, but that's Mike Snider, Northrop's quarterback, playing some DB as well. He comes up with the pick. Then it's Sparks handing the rain so-called to Peterson Curlegrand. Fumble as Jeremy Johnson pounces on it for Northrop. Second quarter action. Sparks grabs the bad snap and then heaves it to Peter Morris. And what a transition this guy's made throughout the season. That's a first down for Concordia. Cadets still driving. You're going to see Peterson Curlegrand up the gut to get the Cadets on the board. And Concordia goes on to win by a final of 32-0. Well, that wraps up the NHC and the SAC, but when we come back, we're going to hit up a game that'll go a long way in deciding the ACAC crown. Leo traveling to Woodland as two of the top teams in conference go head-to-head. Not quite the score fest you'd imagine, and that one will also blanket the NECC. That means Garrett on the road at Fairfield, and we're taking a trip to Turtletown as Busco hosts upstart Central Noble. That and trips to Bluffton, Monroe, Butler, and Wawasee. All that coming up next in the Zone.
If you're just looking for the score, you're in the wrong place! because you're in the highlight zone. Go Jets!